Alright then, let's review what I've been cooking for standard for a while now. So I've just been trying about different builds of blue-white basically. I'll have a standard open this weekend. Still don't know what I'm gonna play. Some version of blue-white, whether it's combo or tempo, whatever. And yeah, what is it? 3 weeks until nationals. Really don't know like what I'll be happy with for the championship. We'll see. It's what was it? 5 rounds of standard and then 3 rounds of draft. Because of that structure, I think I can take a risk of taking something outside the box. And right now, what I've been testing and polishing that qualifies outside the box. Basically, it's blue-white, like a Reservoir combo with SRAM as an engine, and the only addition among nukers is the live chance. Yeah, Knights and Lands have been quite efficient for me, and you board in the 20th when you board in things like Fumigates, for example. Probably in the matchups where you think you might want to board in 3 copies of Construction, then you probably might want to bring in the Netherlands, because that's for grindy games. I'm yet to figure out how many copies of it I want in certain matchups, but yeah, there's a chance I might want the third authorities. So basically, what you do is that you use cranes and strums together with some equipment, and reverse, and try to find reservoir, and then you go off with outcome. And then I've got a lot of actually decent cartridges like Weir of Imagine and Barrel's expertise in favor of adding Olive Chance and additional zeros, because this way you can kind of never have really bad top decks, and Olive Chance does act as a mulligan engine because you can actually flashback it off Aftermath of Spire of Industry or Prophetic Prism, so there are those things going, and yeah, trying to be as straightforward and explosive as possible. So I've been talking about this deck quite a bit, but in this tape I want to kind of discuss and compare how it differs in its game plan and its pros and cons compared to other similar decks. Not quite, but to an extent. Yeah, I'm probably gonna write a piece concerning the sideboard plan for this deck. I'm pretty certain that I like a couple of forties and 3 constructions and 3 fumigates and extra lands and some counter spells. Not sure like what makes I would want. It depends. So there could be dispels in here, but I don't think this spell is that relevant right now in the metagame. I don't think I want the 4 Fumigate in here. Unlike some other decks, I don't think I need it because I have like a pretty fast combo out. You can win turn 5. You can't win turn 4 because you don't run the statuary that lets you improvise non-artifacts, well, I mean spells. So you don't have that. One fear only because it's a bit redundant in multiples, and because of the splash you need a lot of colored mana. And it's still alright just to find a reservoir once upon a time, that's alright. There are no really other good targets for it, but sometimes maybe just if you have already reservoir, you might want to find an extra zero like an Ornithopter just to chump or get more value out of outcomes or live chance. Not sure if I want a 4th one here, because unlike outcome it actually doesn't, directly draw you cards. Suddenly with a combination with SRAM, there's a chance that I might have 4th one over 1 Prism, but I'm not certain of that. So that's kind of my stock build. Let's have a look at it once again with a spoiler view, just to give you a better graphical representation of what's in there. so that you actually remember it better. Very straightforward build, nothing too crazy here. One blind here just because of the map, so that sometimes you start with a map into SRAM, so that's a good thing to have. Plus you do need like double white sometimes, and then sometimes in turn 4 you might want 2 white sources because you might want to go SRAM and leave chance in one turn to pro draw and kickstart the deck. Right, and now let's discuss 3 other options in those colors. So first we have second place of online motos HOU. That's the blue-white's pro set of the second stone control. Basically a control deck where the finisher is the approach. Has 3 copies. Here for Fumigate's main deck is definitely fine. There are a few other builds of it, a few other lists available here and there. I think this is the most square, the most straightforward build. Kinda like it, so if you have limited practice with the deck, you probably want to go with this build because then it's much easier to figure out how to board, because the numbers are so square, and I don't think you will get lost in terms of what to bring in and what to bring out. By the way, I should mention that for my deck choice as well, what typically goes in and goes out, but I guess I'll give it to you at the end of this tape. Yeah, so the reason why I'm not too happy about this particular archetype is that sometimes you just don't draw approach, and then your control plan is not like super amazing. I mean, you have all the tools to actually slow them down, but then again, if you play against a control deck with decent amount of counter spells, you might be in trouble. You do have some of your own as well for Censors and for Supreme Wills. That's a fine, but then the crazy part is that size of approach, you don't really have a win condition. But yeah, it's a well-rounded deck, and a lot of people actually like it at higher level, and you have a pretty good sideboard as well. So extra ways to slow down anything aggressive or beatdown, extra things against control, some more win con slash nice flexible tools to countermeasure. But yeah, I don't think I will pilot this deck that badly, and I kinda like it, and I'm somewhat leaning towards it, at least a playtest. But then on the other hand, I'm not sure this is the bullet that I would want, even though it is well equipped right now to handle pretty much everything that the metagame throws at you. But I'm not so sure. With such an outside-the-box deck like this one, so you'll have more chance to confuse your opponent, and they will make mistakes because of that. I'm kind of sure that blue-white approach is at everybody's radar at the moment, so I think people are ready for it. Okay, a couple other options in this color combination. So this is the blue-white I guess Pharaoh's Gift deck. Pretty interesting one. I really liked it. I'm pretty sure I will be trying it out post rotation. Most of the deck will still be there actually to rotation. I think it will be one of the obvious decks. You will lose just things like Declaration and Spell Queller, but oh well. So be it. Most of the deck is still intact, so it will be one of the obvious decks in the autumn season. So I should start to get ready to have it at the ready. I mean, you lose like some utility here and there, but it's not gonna destroy the archetype. Um, People will be ready about it, and I mean, prepared for it. And the Braid is also pretty good against this deck as against Reservoir too. But the deck is slower. It's just a grindy mid-range deck, basically. That's what it is. And yeah, I like the fact that it's actually supposedly good against red. But this particular list doesn't actually have those two frees for free. You do have like harvesters on the board, for example, things like that. And you can obviously tune this build and list in order to beat red more consistently. But then on the other hand, you do have Fur Angel of Invention in here, so. But then again, that's just 4 things to answer. Well, Gates does gain your life, but that's slow and clunky and not gonna be enough, most likely. So you can obviously polish this build um, against red, for example. Yeah. What I don't like about it is it's a bit clunky, and then you don't have a combo out. It's sometimes disappointing because if Reservoir deck and this deck can both get clunky dress, I'd rather probably prefer a deck with a one-turn kill engine. I mean, you can produce some really disgusting turns with this deck, of course, refurbishing the gift on turn 4 and then getting back, I don't know, like Angel of Invention and attacking for a gazillion, getting a bunch of life in the process and so forth. But to me, this, while it does have a lot of board presence, right, but it does remind you of my build as well in a weird way, in the sense that you want to do broken things and cool things, but then again, I think the Reservoir deck can, because of all the pro draw, um, do all the unbroken and fancy stuff better than this. But this one is a much more reliable deck, I should say, than Reservoir. Well, we'll see, we'll see. So, the Monument. Well, Abrea is not going anywhere, and Duskstone is not that bad right now, even though, okay, say it's not particularly amazing against red, but it's pretty decent against black-green and mono-black, for example. But then again, if this deck would have been actually good against red and mono-black, then people would play it much more. But I guess it's not, because when you get Abby going actually flip it, then it's amazing. But I think the deck was much better when the meta was a bit more diverse. Right now it's a little bit inclined towards fast beatdowns. Just don't think this deck consistently beats mono black, for example. That's what I think, because Dusk Dawn is much worse against black than Fumigate, I think. Just like what Jeff, no, this probably was Jeff Hoagland, I don't know, probably not, Hagmund. Anyways, this is your typical mono black, and yeah, you don't have exile effects. I mean, well, okay, you do have cast out and stay snare, but that's so slow compared to, for example, the sign upon is sinful in terms of just overall impact or declaration stone. And you barely ever want to block, and you'll end up like losing the boards quite easily. And this build doesn't have the Avacyn, for example, so I don't know. I think if Monuments was still a good deck right now, then we would have seen way more of it at the Pro Tour, and there was some, but it never was really featured under the spotlights reasonable amounts, as much as some people probably hoped for. So yeah, let's go back to my build and let's just quickly sum up what I generally bring in and what I generally take out. So the safe ones to cut in each matchup is probably like the prisms. Even though you do want to sometimes aftermath leave chance, I mean cast chance, but then again you still have the spires, and even in slow grinding games, there you might not ever need to actually aftermath it. For example, yeah, so prisms often go out, and then I trim one of a few things. I think I just when I really need a lot of space, I trim some reverse engineers, one leaf chancer maybe two, one crane, one SRAM, one map. So that's what I generally do. But I try not to trim too many copies because even against beatdown and even against control, I do want to have something going on early in the first few turns. So just cycling farmlands is not really doing much. I mean, I would much rather face an abrade or just fatal push, but you know, do something and dig deeper into the deck. Having too much defense and countermeasures will dilute the deck too much. So yeah, as I said before, I generally board in the extra land when I board in Fumigates and construction. So authority is here basically for red. For Mardu, could be brought in against Mono Black. Probably good enough in that matchup because they spam the board really a lot. But I dislike it against Black Green and anything that's slower than Mono Black or Mono Red. That's basically it. Fumigate is pretty bad against Mardu, but pretty good against Mono Black, Black Green, and Red, of course. Construction is peculiar. I think I would bring in more against Black Green and only bring it maximum like. So I think it's gonna go like this. I probably gonna uh, bring in one maximum two against Red or Mono Black, and then probably only two still against aggressive Black Red, but against more mid-ranger Black Green, I'd probably bring in all three because that there it will have time to shine. Normally, don't bring in counter spells against anything fast, and normally not against mid-range because you do have construction against dispossess, so you have a backup plan. An extra win con that can close out games, especially when you get the outcome leaf chains going. So they're mainly for control or for some unfair decks that do some really crazy things. So I would definitely bring it in against a blue-eyed approach or blue-eyed gift, but probably will not board them in against monument because that is a more proactive deck. And I'd rather bring in like all three constructions, for example. I think that's mostly it. So let's imagine we're playing against I don't know, Mono Black, because that's probably gonna be the most common matchup. So you bring in extra land. So you bring in three wraps. You bring in authority. And then maybe a one-off construction, just because they might run dispossess in the sideboard, but most likely they don't. But that's like 6 slots plus the lands. So how do you find room for all that? Well, let's imagine you trim down all the non-insanely essential things. So you need to bring in 6 cards. Okay, prisms go all out first. A map, a SRAM, a crane, that's 3 more. And then leave and reverse, that's two more at least. So that's 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 2 prisms, that's 7. So we board in 6 actual spells and an extra land. So that's how you board a lot of the time, pretty much. Expertise, I think right now is too slow. We're is cute, but and stature are nice, but not when the matter is so fast. So I have extra zeros. I think after rotation in autumn, after Ixalan, then you can go with stature, with weir, because then you won't really have that many zeros. You will only have the ornithopters, so you'll have to go with that free drop that discounts artifacts for 1, and then just run all maps, all not terrarians but amulets, all the prisms and all the puzzle notes, I think, and maybe have a transformational package with Colossus as well, something like that. We'll see. I think the deck survives rotation well. It just will be a bit different, be a bit slower, a bit more grindy. But I think after rotation, Meta probably wouldn't be as fast as aggressive as it is now. Because I think with the loss of the Innistrad blocks and Zendikar, and well, for example, Mardu will lose 4 mana Gideon. Zombies wouldn't lose that much, but still fair bit, I think. But still transition relatively well. There won't be black-green as much, but we'll see. There certainly won't be black delirium, but probably aggressive black-green will still be there. Monorat will take some hits, but I think it will slow down, just because, like, come on, so many things. Okay, let's actually check it more properly. So Mardu wouldn't lose too much. I actually like that the winner of the online PTQ had 4 of ballistas. That helps with all the zombies and monorats. And yeah, like, there's one terrible matchup for a Reservoir deck, that's Timur Emerge. I almost wanted to put in Crooks in the Sands, but then again, Emerge decks are not super well positioned right now. They're much better against mid-range and control, rather than some fast aggro. Even though Kozilek's Return actually does a pretty fair job, but not as much as maybe you would hope. Not in those builds, at least. What else? Blue-red is probably not that great, especially because of disallow, but we don't see that much of it right now. It's not super well positioned, it's still a good deck, and probably wins in good hands. Pilot is skilled with the deck and knows the meta and what people are playing and what they are sighted in. Let's check on zombies. So, okay, they lose Grasp. It's not too bad. They lose Salvation, which is actually a pretty big hit. Relentless, Kalitas, which people I think should still play more than just one of. Well, okay, there's a second one in the sideboard. They lose Lily, which is not like that huge of a deal. They lose some discards. It's mostly, it's a deck is gonna be alive, but like losing Salvation is gonna end Grasp. Those will be big hits. So yeah. Although neither of these two actually matters for Reservoir decks. Even Kalitas doesn't really matter. And this is what Eldrazi, yeah. So one of like Eldrazi is actually one of the cool decks that some of my friends really believe into for the rest of this season. So I mean, for 1.5 months moving on, and you have all the removals, you have lilies, you have Kalitas, but then you have a slightly better beatdown package with Eldrazi's. And then I still play the Everborn and Siphoner. That's pretty sufficient 2-drops. So yeah, you still have expertise on the sides. What else? Reckoning is actually not that bad on this deck because, well, you have all the chip removals, you have 2-drops and so forth, so yeah. Actually, I want to see more bonuses less Reckoning in the match right now. But because of some hasty threats, maybe it's not like amazing. But in the mid-range shell, it's probably okay. Would Red actually lose anything significant? Losing Flow and Defiance, that's actually fair hit. That's actually a fair hit. Gorger was not just important, there probably will be another good 1-drop. But then again, it's not just a Gorger, it's sometimes those other Innistrad 1-drops that are running in the deck. The rest will be there. So yeah, maybe the deck will still be around. It is quite possible. Oath is not that important. Yeah. Okay, actually Black will transition well. But then again, if we're going that route of pondering and thinking and brainstorming, then Excellent might bring something for the Reservoir deck. Whatever shape it will end up with, whatever shell would be the core of it. Okay, thanks for watching, subscribe until the next sale. Cheers, fools.